Good evening and welcome to tonight's live Q&A for the 7-day singing challenge. So today I'm going to be answering two questions. And the first one is for, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, but it's Marwa. Okay, so the question was, how can I sing without any stress and fear? First of all, I would like to say you are by no means alone if you struggle with stage fright or any kind of performance anxiety. So I have been singing professionally now, oh my gosh, close to 20 years. And I would say that stage fright is something that is always something that I have to be on top of, aware of, and to manage. Again, like anything else that's physical, you know, we are athletes. When we are singers, we are athletes. And any form of athlete is constantly having to stay on top of not just their physical conditioning, but also their mental. Just to give you an example of this, a few years ago, I had gone from playing, whenever I played live, to just exclusively playing with a big band, at least a 5-piece band, which is amazing. And, you know, when you're on stage, you have this whole team around you and that whole safety network of these players, and knowing that if I drop the ball, no one will really notice because there's these fabulous, amazing musicians on stage. And then all of a sudden I was going to be doing my very, very first solo acoustic gigs. And I thought, no problem, you know, I'm a professional musician, there's no big deal. I've been playing the guitar and playing these songs for years, no worries, blah, blah. So I was effectively rehearsing in my living room in my pajamas on the sofa with the guitar, you know, just sat there going through the motions. Yep, I know everything, everything's fine, no problem. Came to doing the gig. For a start, there I was, stood. Now that may sound like a stupid thing to say, but obviously there's a very big difference between sitting on the sofa slouched over a guitar and then all of a sudden I'm stood up with guitar strapped and a microphone there. So how I was playing the guitar or interacting with the guitar was different, you know, first and foremost. Secondly, when I looked around me, there is no band. There's no one, it is just me. Thirdly, here I am hearing myself amplified, and I hadn't been practicing like that for the first time on my own, you know, just my voice, just the guitar. And it took me back to the very beginning of my career, and I just, oh my gosh, it's one of the hardest gigs I've ever done. And I would say it was a gig I had to grind out. I had to get through and completely come back to the drawing board, work out what on earth had happened, why had it happened, and vow to never let it happen again. Now, having said that, I actually had to recover from this. So, you know, stage fright and singing without fear, I would say the best thing you need to do is to actually have a plan in place. And I'm not saying this is a plug to sell something, but genuinely, I've prepared an entire ebook on this, and it's called Prepare Hard, Fight Easy. And it's a systematic 11-step program to how to be gig ready, to how to get yourself in the right, you know, mindset and everything in place emotionally, mentally, physically, so that you are ready for that gig. If you are interested in that, I'm going to post a link to that on this post. So what I would say to you is, as I've just said, I would say the best thing you can do is have a plan in place, okay? And to understand that confidence isn't something that just happens. Confidence is something you have to work on. It's something you have to build. And it, you know, it needs constant fueling. So that's my advice on that. As I say, if you'd like more info on that, I will put a link in this post. Okay, so then the second question that I had was from Sky. Sky is saying, oh, hi, John. Nice to see you. How are you getting on today, John? Is that going well? Cool. So next one is from Sky. So Sky is saying, I'm struggling at the moment. My question/issue is that when I sing, my voice gets croaky halfway through the song, maybe because of too much tension, and then I need to stop and have a drink and leave it till later. My other question is, how do you find your range? If I sing really quietly, then my pitch is almost perfect, but then as soon as I start singing properly, I can't reach the same notes. if that makes any sense. Okay, so there's a few things going on there. John, I'll come back to you in a minute because it looks like you're not happy. Maybe you could give me some more detail as to why you're not happy and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so Sky, first of all, when I sing, my voice gets croaky halfway through. Absolutely something is going on. I would say that it's probably a matter of urgency that you get and see a vocal coach or a teacher or someone who can help you diagnose what's going on. Because if you're having pain and you know, you're losing your voice or your quality of voice is changing and you're getting croaky, then there is something very, very wrong with what you're doing. Probably tension. But without hearing you sing or seeing you sing, I can't really comment on that. So I would say absolutely find yourself a coach / teacher and get some help with that immediately. In the meantime, if you want to continue vocalizing, what you can do is be working on your breathing, absolutely. And you can be using your lip bubbles. So lip bubbles are actually a fantastic exercise for vocal rehab, okay? So just long held notes, that 5-note scale, but don't go mad. You know, if it cuts out or it stops or it starts to hurt, stop. Don't be pushing your voice right now. Certainly not until you've spoken to a coach. Right, the next question you've asked is, how do you find your range? And if I sing really quietly, then my pitch is almost perfect. Right, those are two separate things. So personally, I think range is a point of ego. Why does it matter? What does it matter what my range is? It doesn't. Because in reality, most of us don't use our full range anyway. Predominantly, what we sing with is usually less than 2 octaves. You know, if I think about you know, any kind of song, never really goes much below G below middle C, and then my top sort of belt note or top note would be the F4, which is so the F above middle C up an octave. So for me, range has never been, I'm not really interested in range. What I'm interested in is how well can you sing the notes that you're singing, okay? That's always been more important to me. But if you want to find your range, it's really simple. You just go to a piano and you sing some exercises and you start at the lowest note you can possibly sing at, and then you sing until you can't sing anymore. But what I would say to you, Sky, right now is you certainly don't want to be doing that, not with the kind of vocal problems that you're describing that you're experiencing. So I would just completely stay away from that. Okay, so then why is your pitch almost perfect when you sing quietly, but as soon as you start singing properly, I can't reach the same notes? So I would say to you that you're probably not singing properly, okay? If you can sing at pitch quietly and you can sing certain notes in your throughout your register without a problem quietly, but then when you sing with properly, it's going wrong. Again, without hearing you, without seeing you sing, it's almost impossible to diagnose, but I would say that it does tie in with your suggestion of too much tension. You're probably trying to force a belt or a mixed voice where your vocal cords are too thick. So if you imagine to reach higher notes, our vocal folds are stretched like an elastic band, right? Now, when we sing with what we call belt, which is a thicker, fuller sound, what's going on there is my vocal folds are thicker. They still have to be stretched thin. They still have to go long to sing higher notes. But what gives it that thicker, weightier sound is the amount of muscle that's engaged within the vocal fold itself. So this isn't singing, but this is the healthiest way I encourage people to start exploring that sort of thicker sound. Just, my mum is in the other room. Mum! It's that sound. And listen how easy that is. Dad! No more than that, okay? But that's a thicker vocal fold, okay? But when you have the thicker vocal fold, because there's muscle there, think about a bodybuilder. Bodybuilder is not as flexible as a gymnast, right? And that's because they've got more muscle going on. So if you've got more muscle with the vocal fold and it's thicker, stretching it can be harder. The other thing with this tension that we're talking about, when you're constricting your throat, or you're squeezing your throat, the muscles and the tendons and everything involved in lengthening those vocal folds can't work as well because it's all being squashed. So that's probably what's going on. And as I've said before, my advice would be to you to, as soon as possible, get and see a teacher / coach to help support you with what's going on with your voice. I hope that's helped. If you would like any more clarification on that, just send me a little comment or an email or something. Right, John, what's going on? You had a bad day with the back. Oh dear. So it's been a case of looking after yourself and resting, feeling okay now. So you're going to be back on it tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, you're a human being. So some days you're not going to be able to sing, or some days you're going to feel rubbish, and that's fine. So I would say, bring to the table what you've got that day. If it's feeling bad, John, you know, do what you, and you want to sing, do what you can, which might be to continue working on that breathing we were talking about yesterday. It might be to, oh, hi Sky, you're very welcome. I hope that helped. You know, to work on that breathing, or it might be to work on some of the stuff that we've been talking about in today's lesson, where you're thinking about the characterization. Where are you? Who are you singing to? Why? What's the emotion of the song? All of that other stuff. You know, there's a lot you can do without actually vocalizing anyway. So if you're feeling a bit crummy, don't beat yourself up, but maybe do something you can do. Or perhaps if you can only do 5 minutes, you only do 5 minutes, you know. Being kind to yourself is the most important thing. Right, has anybody else got any questions? Oh, bless you, John. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I know that feeling. Oh, hi, Rita. Hope you're well. Yeah, anyone else got any? How are you guys all getting on today? So, Rita, how's your day going with your day 5? Is it day 5? Yes. Oh no, day 4. Day 4 today. How's day 4 going for you? Cool. Okay, so as I said, if anyone else has any questions or anything else that they want answered for tomorrow, just bang it in a post in the group, or you can email it to me. And yeah, congratulations, we are almost halfway through. So, well, tomorrow you will be over halfway through on the home straight. And yeah, give yourselves a pat on the back for coming this far. You're doing really, really well, and I'm really enjoying this every evening as well. So like I say, it's your time, it's for you, so make sure you use it. Anyway, take care guys, enjoy the rest of your evening.